Hello guys, and welcome to Sim UK. Once again, I've got a very small tutorial for you. It's not really a tutorial, it's just an opener to let you know that modding has started to become available for Pure Farming 2018. Now, I've got a bit of a concern around whether or not it's just going to be machines or whether maps and physics and stuff are going to be moddable as well. I don't know how that's going to work out. If you're actually from Techland or in some way related to Pure Farming 2018, you know the answer to that. Please leave a comment down below, because everybody who watches this video is going to be interested in knowing whether you're going to be allowing people to mod maps and physics and so on and so forth. So I've been hunting for some mods, and the best one I found so far, I say the best one, is pf2018mods.com. When I say the best one, I mean that it has the most amount of content here. Now you can see that they've opened up all of these aspects here: buildings, cars, combine, cutters, forklift, excavators, implements and tools, maps, objects, others, packs, placeable objects, textures, tractors, trailers, trucks and vehicles. I don't think it's associated directly with Pure Farming 2018, although they've made a lot of effort to make it look that way. There's quite a few mods on here though. If I click on cars, you can see there's a nice AC Cobra here, and if we click on that, you can see there's some images of it, so theoretically that's something that will work. Incidentally, this is the location where you will put the mod itself in your Steam folder: Pure Farming data, steaming assets, importer, and then the mod folder. So it's pretty straightforward. You just extract the file into there, and then you have to load it into the game, but I'll show you that in a minute anyway. So on this particular website, if you click download, you'll see it's one of these multi-step processes in order to download and install. This obviously makes the website a bit of money, and I'm always a bit skeptical of using websites that use this approach. I don't really like it very much. You could end up installing a whole bunch of crap on your system that you really don't want. So I might recommend you stay away from this particular website. Maybe in time someone can prove that it's fine, but just as a heads up. So the alternative method is to actually import directly from within the game. And you can see here that we have Buggy. This comes with the game, and if I click on it, that will be available to us in game now. That is how you import it into the game. So when it's in this stage, it's not available, but when you import it, it is. If I open up the importer, you can see that they've got some model types here. Now, as far as I can tell, these are just placeholders and there's no information here whatsoever. It's not the best importer, I've got to say. It really isn't that intuitive. It doesn't work that well. It's a bit confusing about whether you're importing, have imported, or whatever. But if I go through all of these and just sort of, you can see that none of them actually have anything in there, but I'm assuming what's going to happen is that in time, as mods become available on the website, and I'm not really sure how you upload them to the website either, yeah, I think maybe this is the process by which you can upload your models to the game, and then hopefully they'll become available. But it's not really 100% clear yet which way round this will work. This is either where you upload them or where you download them. I'm not entirely sure. So we're going to load this one. Buggy is the one that they've imported for me here. And you can see if I load the modding tool here, it's quite interesting. There's quite a lot of control that you've got. I have no idea what I'm doing here, by the way. But you've got quite a lot of control over the model itself. And yeah, apparently, according to those who do mod, they say that the whole modding process is incredibly straightforward and very, very simple indeed. And the tools here, I'm not even going to mess around with this too much because I don't really know anything about what I'm doing. It would all be completely guesswork. But you can see that all these tools are available to you as part of the game. So theoretically, anybody can start modding, and I would expect that a lot more mods would start to appear pretty quickly from this point in. That being said, I have mentioned this already. Vehicles I know are going to be in the game. In fact, vehicles are now in the game. I'm a little bit concerned, and I just want to clarify again, I don't know if maps and physics and buildings and placeable objects are going to be available as part of the modding kit. Hopefully it will be, because this whole game basically teeters on the edge, and it's modding that's either going to make it or break it, in my humble opinion, of course. But yeah, okay, so I mean, There's a few things already available that you can just tweak and change, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, by the way. But you make some changes, you make some alterations, click OK, and then import and accept, and that will overwrite the model that you've just downloaded. So, I mean, admittedly, it's all a bit confusing for me here, this whole process. I don't really understand what I'm doing. Part of that is because I'm not a modder myself, but part of that is because the whole system behind it is a bit wonky. So if we load the game up and just see what that buggy looks like. So we'll just buy the buggy and send that to our barn and then head round there and we'll go and have a look. So there we can see the buggy, and yeah, I don't think it's meant to be bouncing up in the air like this. I can't actually get it to move forward out of the hangar. You can see the wheels are turning. I think it's just got a center of balance issue or something. And I've tried loading this in a few times and I'm getting the same issue every time. So I don't know if it's just me or whether the alterations that I made earlier are causing this problem. I can't really see how that would be the case, but certainly this particular mod seems a bit broken. But yeah, there are more and I'll show you those now. Certainly my most recommended method is to come to the official Techland forum, and you can see they've got all their games here, so all the forums are here. And if we go to Pure Farming and select English and then select mods, you can see there's already a few conversations going on, but the one I want to show you today is this John Deere 6170, which has been produced and sent in by a chap called Bruges or Bruges or Bruges, or I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but I would hazard a guess and say that this gentleman lives in France somewhere. Now you can see it's all in French, so we'll just come up here, and if you're using Google Chrome you'll have this option to translate, but really all you need to look at is this download link here. Convert the JD6170R, and that will download the John Deere to your desktop, and all you have to do is open that, then navigate to your Steam folder, Steam Apps Common, find your game file, which obviously will be called Pure Farming. There we are. Pure Farming Data, open that folder, and then look for streaming assets inside of there, the importer folder, and then mods. We'll delete the one that I created earlier and just import that one, and this is basically it: the textures, the bin file, and the JSON file. And then when we come back into the game, you can see that that file has been picked up by the game. It won't load unless you restart the game, but when it's in this state here, when it's in this area of the importer, you'll see that it doesn't actually import. I think this whole importer needs another look, but if I just go into game very quickly here, and we'll pick up the tablet and we'll go to the vehicle store, and you can see if I look in tractors that our John Deere tractor is not there at all, and that's because it hasn't been imported correctly. So we'll go back and I'll show you how to import correctly, and then I'll show you what's different on this screen. So then if we go back to the importer and we highlight the one that we want here and then click on add another, you can see that it jumps up to the top, and that then indicates that it will be loaded into the game. It's really not that nicely put together, to be honest. It's not that intuitive. But if we load back in, here we have the John Deere 6170R, and it's really nicely modelled, and straight away you can see that the suspension physics on this tractor are in place, and they're behaving reasonably well. Remember, this game's got not the best physics, to be honest. I think the physics are pretty terrible, but the tractor itself is really nice. It works perfectly. It can connect to any of the equipment that's here, and it all seems to work very, very well indeed. It's quite a powerful little tractor. Well, I say little tractor, it's a medium-sized tractor. It's quite powerful. It chucks this thing around really quite easily. I don't think it's best suited to the Italian map. So here we are in the John Deere itself, and if we just have a little look around, you can see it's really very, very well done. The colours, I'd say, are absolutely spot on. It's yeah, it's a really good mod. The front loading arm there looks very good. The light effects and everything looks good. The shackles and stuff at the back looks okay. I think it's a little bit underwhelming, but it certainly does the job in this kind of game. No problems at all. And yeah, it really does. It's Dagowin was talking about this the other day, but the scale of the tractor is really impressive. We just jump inside a second. You can see it's a lot more packed full of content than most of the other tractors in game. Some of the textures in here are a bit squiffy, but overall it's, you know, it's okay, it's perfectly suitable, and I'd say it was as good, if not better, than most of the default tractors that are available in game. So the headlights are not positioned properly. You can see that the rear lights there are lighting up the wall, and the front lights are lighting up the bonnet. But you can, if I look closer, you can see that none of the headlights are actually lighting up, which is a bit of a shame, and I don't know whether that can be fixed. I'm not sure if it's this mod that has the issue, or whether it's the modding tools that are limiting the capabilities therein. The same applies at the back. Although these lights are on, they don't actually light up. And again, I don't know if it's the mod itself that has that issue, or whether it's the modding tools that are restricting things. If we just jump into our McCormick here for a second, and then jump back into the John Deere, you can see that there's no icon for this tractor. Again, I don't know if that's the modding tools or the game that's causing that problem, or whether this mod just needs a bit of adjusting. So let's take her out for a little spin. Try and find some bumpy ground so that you can see that the suspension is looking very authentic. Again, not forgetting that the physics in this game are pretty unrealistic, in all honesty, but the suspension modelling is exceptional. I mean, probably the best I've seen, I would say. Looking very nice indeed. Unfortunately, still we have this thing in game that if you, for example, whoops, if I just try and drive off the edge of this hill here, you'll see that the game automatically puts the brakes on, and you'll never have a runaway tractor in this game, which is a bit of a shame, because well, it's just a shame. I'd rather it was more realistic. But if we just chunk it down this hill, you can see that the suspension is all bouncing and bobbling about and behaving in a way that you would expect it to. So this isn't a review of this mod in any way, shape or form. It's perfectly functional. It does everything you want it to do. It's not perfect, but I'd say it was pretty flipping good. Somebody ought to give this a proper, decent review. I'm not going to do that, but yeah, for the first mod available, I'd say it was pretty darn good. But it's just literally just small enough to fit in between these rows here. But yeah, it's not the perfect tractor for this job, I'd say. It's certainly powerful enough, but I think this is meant for slightly more agricultural kind of arable farming, as opposed to this oops this I was going to say this more delicate style of farming, but yeah, you can see that it's not that easy to do in all honesty, and the size of the tractor is not helping things whatsoever, because I'm having to position myself literally in the bush in order to position it correctly. I'll just go to the end, turn around, and see if we can actually do this. So okay, once we got ourselves lined up, you can see that it is possible to utilise this tractor on the Italian map, but yeah, it's not best. So you see the rear wheels kind of getting in the way of the connection, but you can force it through like that. I don't actually have any fruit available to harvest at the moment, so this is kind of fruitless. Haha, bum bum. But yeah, it's just to show you that it does work with the equipment, and I'd say this is probably the best mod that I've seen today, in terms of one that I'm willing to download and install on my system without any real concern for having additional nastiness happening. Just to further test the lights, you can see that they do work, although the rear ones are not coming on. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. They don't highlight when I switch the lights, and the front lights have a slight issue. I think basically the positioning of the front lights is incorrect. These front headlights certainly don't light up, and all that happens is the front of the bonnet gets lighter, which kind of suggests that the headlight element in the mod itself is in the wrong position and just needs moving further forward. But I guess what they've done is they've used the show of light to dictate where they put the lights, and it just looks a bit odd and a bit weird. So whether it's this mod that needs to be modified, or whether it's the modding tools that need to be changed, perhaps, I can't be sure. But yeah, anyway, there's the tractor, and you can see that when you have a mod successfully loaded into your game, that you'll have a new tab open up in the shop element called Importer. Now, I would rather see my tractors appear in the tractors folder and be highlighted as a mod, rather than having a mod folder where everything goes. That to me is just, it's just going to end up looking and getting very messy and being awkward. So hopefully they'll have a think about that and change it around so that your mods go into the appropriate folder, and you can filter and adjust them as you would any normal mod, and maybe just a little icon there just to indicate that it is a modded vehicle instead. I would much prefer to see that. So hopefully, guys, that will give you some assistance, some indication of how to move forward. A, if you want to start downloading some mods and where to find them. B, if you're interested in creating your own mods. I know a lot of tutorials are about to come out from other YouTubers. I don't have any links for you at the moment, I'm afraid. But feel free, if you find a decent YouTube tutorial that shows how to make mods yourself, feel free to stick that in the comments section down below. And if you know a location, a website or whatever that's providing mods for Pure Farming 2018, by all means stick that in the comment section below. If I discover that it's suspicious or in any way dodgy at all, obviously I will remove it. But yeah, just if you see any links in the description below, just be cautious when you use it. I'm not officially condoning any of them, but feel free to leave some links here if you so wish. So that's it from me, guys. Slightly longer tutorial today. Not the best tutorial, I grant you. I just felt like I needed to chuck something together so that you guys can start getting hold of these mods and learning yourself, and so on and so forth. So hopefully that's helpful to some of you, and not a hindrance to anyone. Take care till next time. Goodbye.